battle. And John, you brewed up a crazy little deck for today. It is a John Loucks special.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the process for building this deck and exactly what in the world it is?
The process was, it was 5 days of testing Turbofog, and then deciding that Turbofog was awful, and then brainstorming on the bus and realizing that Birthing Pod and that Infinite Life combo with Lean and Relic Order, Metamorph, and Souls Warden, those were good together, and they would pay for Birthing Pod even if you weren't green. So I was like, you don't need to be green, and then you can run Deceiver Twin in the deck, and then I was like, oh, the deck's not gonna have any room for anything else. But then I realized I can run all these one-ofs for the Birthing Pod, and so it just grew and grew. And it started with a lot of one-ofs, and then people like Conley Woods, Matt Nass, Zane Bagg, they were like, you need to focus, get more tight on the combos, and so I think I like where the deck ended up. It knows what it wants to do, even though it has all these one-ofs.
Right, I mean, it looks kind of all over the place, but you're 3-1 right now, and so we watched you the first round, and you drew pretty, I mean, I don't want to complain about draws, but I'd say you drew pretty poorly to lose that one.
Yeah, it was not great.
You drew like 6 lands in a row, his opponent drew the only card he needed.
I had 12 lands in play, but couldn't activate my 2 colonnades because one of the lands was a sack land that had no targets left. And I had 2 more dead sack lands in my hand, and I'm just like, oh
dear. But then, so how did round 2 go for you?
Round 2 I won. I played against Jund.
Okay.
And I got to out mid-range him. He goes Lotus Cobra, and I'm like, well, I don't have any way to interface with Lotus Cobra. Like, he's going to ramp up. And so then he goes Lotus Cobra into Wormcoil Engine. I go Phyrexian Metamorph the Wormcoil Engine, take a hit from it, Phyrexian Metamorph the Wormcoil Engine. I have more Wormcoil Engines, so I won.
And then how about round 3 and 4?
Round 3 I played against Tempered Steel, and I got to turn 3 Infinite Life him with Soul Warden Relic thing, Phyrexian Metamorph, and then I also got to clone a Tuk Tuk Scrapper. Originally it was...
Living the dream.
Yes, because you kill 2 things and they take 4. Originally it was Oxidus Scrap Melter. Someone's like, you can clone Tuk Tuk Scrapper. I think it was Terry. Somebody pointed it out. So the deck definitely had a lot of help from other people because I did not come up with everything in the first go. There's some spicy one-ofs.
Yeah, so we'll get to the deck here in a second. Then round 4 real fast.
Round 4 I played against, that just happened. I played against Blue-Red Splinter Twin.
Okay.
And I won game 1 with 3 Frost Titans. And I won game 2 when he conceded to my 3 creatures. And
you say you won with 3 Frost Titans. You have 1 in your deck.
Yes.
So we'll get to the deck list here. All right, so you're known for building crazy decks in the Seattle area. You've built a lot of crazy ones in your time. You've won PTQs with very strange decks.
That look almost exactly like this deck.
Look like the Gifts Ungiven.
Birthing Pod instead of Gifts Ungiven.
One-ofs, crazy. So let's run down your deck list. So the first thing that's apparent, you have Soul's Attendant, 4 Soul's Attendant, 4 Relic Warder, and 4 Phyrexian Metamorph.
Yep.
That's a combo.
Yep, and Soul's Attendant just happens to be decent against the aggro decks. It really gives you time if you're on the play against Vampires or Tempered Steel. You get really sad on the draw against Tempered Steel because there's 3 life on turn 1 you don't gain, and then it helps you against Deceiver Exarch, so it's actually a fine card on its own.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know how the combo works, basically, so you have Soul's Attendant in play, and you have Lean and Relic Warder in play.
Yep. Then
you play the Phyrexian Metamorph, and it's kind of crazy from there.
Yeah, you Metamorph, make it a Lean and Relic Warder. It can target itself because it's an artifact, and then it removes itself from the game, brings itself back, removes itself, brings itself back, and you gain infinite. And then the last one, you can just choose whatever you want.
Right, so you get infinite life with that 3-card combo, and of course, you have 4 Birthing Pods to help find them.
Yep, which are also fueled by Soul's Attendant. So there's only 1 forest in the deck. So that's just in case you want to take less damage from Birthing Pod. Otherwise, you're fueling it with Soul's Attendant.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we have the Birthing Pod combo. Then the other half. Okay, so we've got Deceiver Exarch, Splinter Twin.
Yep.
Okay.
I love the Deceiver Exarch. He's really good with Birthing Pod. You can untap it, and we've gotten these situations where we're 6 mana and we have a bunch of random combination of cards, only 1 combo piece. But with Deceiver and Birthing Pod, you can find the combo out of nowhere. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was hanging out with you the other night, and you were like, Magic the puzzling scenario. I'm going to write down the scenario, figure out how you win from this position.
Yeah, I'll probably put it up in an article because it was crazy. It took 4 of us, and it took 7 minutes to figure it out.
It's insane what this deck can do. Okay, so you got those combos in there.
Yep.
And then do you have any more 4-ofs, or is that all the 4-ofs? All right, no, it's all 1-ofs from here on now. So okay, we'll go over all the 1-ofs. And you tell me why you need all of these. All right, first, Phantasmal Image.
Have you ever brought back Phantasmal Image with a Sun Titan? Making another Sun Titan.
We have not, but I've talked about
That's the dream I want to live. It's also just fine. Upgrading a Soul's Attendant into the best creature on the board is really awesome. And this deck works so well with clones because you have things that are worth cloning. So it just has a lot of value, I think.
Right. I think I agree. You could turn your Soul's Attendant into anything. Also, the neat thing about Birthing Pod is it copies converted mana cost.
Yeah.
So if you Phantasmal Image 6-drop, you can go find, I guess you don't have a 7, but if you copy a 5-drop, you can go get a 6-drop or something.
There may be a 7 or 2 on my sideboard.
Oh, we'll get to that one too. So Phantasmal Image got through that one. All right, Wall of Omens. 1 Wall of Omens.
1. So Yeah, you get down to where you have like this certain number of room in the deck just to run like for value cards. Like they're not part of the combo, and like you can lay out the curve, and like the curve looks good, but there's a lot of 1-ofs in there, and so if I just want to draw a card or get value out of a Soul's Attendant when I don't need it, Wall of Omens is just the best one I can grab in an early board. Like it draws a card, and then like just drawing it is fine. Like it's not too spicy.
Yeah, I mean it draws a card cantrips worst case. You have one spell skite, that's probably for combo matchups. You can get it against beatdown if you need it. Right?
Yeah, you can get it against Exarch, you can get it against beatdown, you can protect the combo, like get it protect. It's been really good.
One Seagate Oracle.
It's basically the 3 casting cost Wall of Omens. So like a lot of times you'll Birthing Pod into a Deceiver and then into a 4 and get something else instead of Seagate Oracle. But if you turn 4 Birthing Pod to your 2, then you just want something for value, and Seagate's good.
Okay, so 1 Pilgrim's Eye.
Yeah, I was having some trouble with mana. The mana base was a little iffy, but once I added
4 colors, right?
Yeah, once I added the Pilgrim's Eye, it helped a lot.
Okay.
So it's nice.
And to complement your Pilgrim's Eye, you also have 1 Solemn Simulacrum.
Yep, he's like the 4-drop slot is sad. I have 4 clones, and then like the next best thing to get for value is like Hero of Blade Hold. So I'm just running a Solemn and 4 clones, and he's the best for value 4.
Did you consider playing more Solemns in this deck, or?
I did. I actually thought of putting more in or more in the sideboard, but I actually. Like, it was more important to keep the curve lower and run things like Seagate Oracle and Wall of Omens than it was to have, like, the Solemn Simulacrum. Although, he's really good with the Titan draws. I may be a little Titan heavy, but we'll get there.
Let's see, so 1 Blade Splicer.
Yeah, Blade Splicer is really awesome because he blocks a lot of things, and then he can get you from a 2 to a 3 and then back to a 1. So he's how you can find your Soul's Attendant with Birthing Pod,
right?
Which is usually really hard. There's also a couple man lands that you can use, but it's really expensive. But otherwise, yeah, that's what he's doing.
All right, 1 Archon of Justice.
Yep, he is the best for value 5 you can get. It's really nice to be able to ramp into an Archon into a Titan, and you get to kill something along the way, and it just provides an answer for anything.
Okay, 1 Totem Guide Heartbeast. That makes sense. Find your Splinter Twin, right?
And the Totem Guide Heartbeast plan used to be a lot more present. There was a Guard Duty, a Splinter Twin, a Mind Control, and a Spreading Seas, but those got taken out.
There's still the Mind Control on the sideboard, though. We'll get there in a second. And then, speaking of 4 value cards, we have 3 Titans, 1 Inferno, 1 Frost, 1 Sun. So tell us what your inclusion for these was, your reasoning behind that, and also just why this mix of 3. Did you just want 1 of each? Did you want to be able to find 1 more often than the other? Like, what was your thinking about having 1 of each?
Yeah, it used to just be Sun Titan, Frost Titan. Sun Titan's the best way to, like, if you just need, like, to get a bigger presence on the board or get your combo pieces back, like being able to recycle spell skites and stuff is really valuable. And the fact that you have these Titans, even though you have 1 of each, usually once you get 1, the next turn, if it's not dead, you have 3 because you've cloned it a bunch.
Sure.
So, like, having 1 Titan is really interesting. Like, 1 of each, you just have options. And so the Frost Titan was the best when you needed to kill something and not die to it. And then the Inferno Titan was the last slot in the deck. It was the second Wall of Omens, and I was like, I just want more big guys. Now that I have this Pilgrim's Eye, I have another way to get land. I just want to be able to even just cast 1 on turn 6. So Inferno was good, and it's also nice to be able to Inferno Titan clone and kill a Titan. Doesn't happen a lot, but it's nice to have the option, even though Frost Titan's there too. But, I mean, I don't know, I like Titans. And
so if you have any questions about John's main deck, send us a tweet. We'll get back to that in a second. Let's try to cover your sideboard. So, because all the 1-ofs in your main deck wasn't good enough for you. So we have 15 1-ofs.
Yep, done it before. Worked last time.
so for reference, last time you did 15 1-ofs in the sideboard, you wanted your PPQ, correct?
Yep. And I was making infinite attackers with Kiki-Jiki.
Yes. Yep. He won before Kiki-Jiki Pestimite was a cool thing to do.
I made it cool.
Yeah, you made it cool. So let's go over your sideboard plan real fast. All right. 1 Lone Missionary.
1 Lone Missionary. When you need life, he's the best man. Used to be 2 core Firewalkers, but I decided to split it.
I mean, if you have like 14 1-ofs or 13 1-ofs and 1 into 2, like you got to split it.
I'll be honest, the sideboard should probably be 11 1-ofs and then some mixture of non 1-ofs, but I had to go all the way.
Yeah, I mean you can't just do it halfway, right? All right, Grand Abolisher.
Grand Abolisher is so good against control and like Pyromancer's Ascension and all that stuff. He's really good. Should have been 1 in the main deck. There should probably be more. He's really awesome.
Okay, Core Firewalker.
Yep, best thing you can do against red, I think.
Spellskite, same reasons as the main deck, I presume.
Oh yeah, I just wanted another one. When I was physically laying out what I would be sideboarding in each match, I realized I just wanted 1 Spellskite, 1 additional that I didn't have any room to side in anymore. So that's why it was at 1, which is just so happened to be right, I think.
Devout Lightcaster.
I wanted something against vampires, and you get to clone him or put a Splinter Twin on him, so it's pretty good.
Have you Splinter Twin anything awesome in this deck yet?
I Splinter Twin the Pilgrim's Eye round 1 and lost.
We saw that one.
And otherwise, no, not yet.
No, not yet. Tuk Scrapper, Tempered Steel.
Yeah, so it used to be Oxida Scrap Melter, and then somebody that wasn't me realized that you can clone it and kill 2 things instead of 1. So the value is just so incredible. And then if you ever get a 3rd one, they're just dead. They take 9.
Yeah, it's good. So. Tempered Steel, good luck beating that one, right?
Yeah, and it was better than a Manic Vandal because you have more, like your 2s and 3s can become a 4 because of Deceiver Exarch. So you want to be able to trade your 3s into a Manic Vandal or your 2s into a Manic Vandal. So Tuk Tuk Scrapper, I think, was right.
1 Mind Control for your Heart Beast.
Yep, for the Titan, like, mid-rangey matchups.
So Elish Norn, Grand Cenobite.
Yeah, that guy's awesome. So one of my plans that you'll see against Deceiver Twin was to have something in each casting cost that stopped them. And that's the one you can upgrade a Titan into, because there's no Titan that actually stops them, unless Frost Titan keeps down their red. But being able to get a 7 that stops that, and then it also has a lot of value against, like, Cobblade, stuff like that. I think it's decent against Tempered Steel, but I haven't figured out if I actually want a 7 casting cost thing in my deck.
Yeah, it's a little expensive.
Yeah.
You have to be careful. 1 Phyrexian Ingester. Some people don't even know what this card does.
6 and a blue,
yes,
which is very important.
Correct.
Comes into play, he ingests. You exile target creature, and then he gets +X/+X, where X is that creature's power and toughness, and he is a 3/3 base.
It's like Mega Duplicate, basically.
Yeah, so you take a Titan, you have a 9/9. And the problem I was running into was I could Birthing Pod into a Titan, and they would have a Titan, and like I just couldn't, like I want to be able to murder their Titan, and sometimes you can Frost Titan it, and then they kill Frost Titan, and like you just needed a way to be able to kill Titans, and so I realized, and it's really easy to get up to a Titan because you can clone it. So having Birthing Pod clone in the land, you can do it with 4 mana. You go clone your Titan, upgrade it into a 7, kill your guy. So like you can run up you can ramp up with these clones with Birthing Pod and get a lot of value out of it.
1 Silvok Replica.
Could not beat Torpor Orb until somebody was like, someone was like, hey, you can Silvok Replica them, and good thing I have a forest and like 4 ways to search it up. And yeah, you cannot beat Torpor Orb otherwise. If they play a second Torpor Orb, you have to play Silvok Replica and then clone Silvok Replica before you sack it, and then you can get the Torpor Orbs. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure you're just screwed.
All right, 1 Kazul, Tyrant of the Cliffs.
Yep, he is I had an Urubrusk, but then they can still, Splinter Twin can still go off end of turn and then kill you. But if you have Kazul out, they can't kill you with infinite guys. And I love it if they make infinite and they're like, attack. You're like, okay, all these triggers, are you paying 3? I get all these 3/3s. But
do it on Magic Online for fun, right?
Yeah, he's the best. He's the 5 that stops the Exarch. And I think he's also decent against like Cobblade, stuff like that.
And Linvala also stops Exarch.
Yep, Linvala is your 4 that stops it.
Okay. 1 Celestial Purge.
This is where my sideboard starts to get sketchy. I had 12 cards I really liked, and I was like, what are my last 3? I think Flash Freeze would help against Valakut, but I don't want to run 2. How about a Flash Freeze and a Celestial Purge? But I think I also wanted something else against red. I like having options. It's probably a weakness that I have, but, you know, I split it 1 and 1.
So you have 1 Purge, 1 Flash Freeze, and then finally, 1 Malira Silvok Outcast.
Yes, the last sideboard slot took me forever to find. I can't remember who suggested it, but yeah, it stops you from getting poisoned. Has a lot of value in those matchups like Cobblade or Tempered Steel, where you can gain infinite life, and then the only thing you care about is their Inkmoth Nexus, and it's one more way to like kind of get around Inkmoth Nexus.
So you'd bring it in those matchups?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you feel your matchups are with this deck so far? Now, I know you've been playtesting this pretty rigorously.
Yeah, the last like 3 days I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know what I need to do in each matchup, but I have no idea what the percentages are. Like against Valakut game 1, I think it's about 50-50. You can get to the infinite life combo pretty quickly without them disrupting you. Depends on if they have Beast Withins, and once you get infinite life, they don't have much to do. Against like red, it depends on what half of your deck you draw. Like if you draw the early game stuff with the Soul's Descendants, like you're a lot better off. But if you draw like Titans and kind of like a more mid-range hand, it's worse. Same with Vampires.
Somebody on Twitter asked for the mana base of the deck. I'll run down it real fast. Nothing too exciting here. I mean, except for the fact it's a 4-color mana base. But yeah. 1 Forest, 2 Mountain, 2 Plains, 2 Island, 4 Seachrome Coast, 1 Glacial Fortress, 3 Celestial Colonnade, 1 Terramorphic Expanse, 1 Evolving Wilds, 4 Scalding Tarn, 4 Arid Mesa. Had to split the 1/1. Do you have the deck on you said?
Yeah.
Can you pull it out? Let's take a sample hand.
Sure.
I don't know how I'm going to circumnavigate this. So let's
do you want to give them Magic the Puzzling, or do we just want to...
Do you have a Magic the Puzzling?
I mean, I could lay it out. I know what the situation was. I just got to find my deck.
We might confuse the audience if we give them a Magic the Puzzling.
Okay, no Magic the Puzzling.
All right, no Magic the Puzzling. Although it would be fun. If you guys want to see it, tweet at us and let me know.
Okay.
And we'll have John reconstruct
using playing cards as tokens.
All right, so let's take a sample hand with this deck.
Okay, hopefully it's not embarrassing. Sometimes they're a little sketchy.
All right, so we have 1 Wall of Omens, one of in the books, a Plains.
Gotta be a good hand.
A Splinter Twin, a Seagate Oracle. Oh, both for value, guys. A Seachrome Coast. I like it already. A Deceiver Exarch, and a birthing pod.
So I generally keep the 2 land hands, just because, especially this one where you have a wall of omens and do a Seagate Oracle. It might not be right, but I'd keep this.
Yeah, so once again, just for reference, hand looks a little something like this. This is a Exarch. So we have the Split Twin Exarch combo in our hands.
Yep.
So
we don't have any red, though.
Don't have any red.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. So lead on Seachrome Coast, right? Okay, so now the card we draw is Solemn Simulacrum.
Okay. Let's hope we get a land.
Still going to play our Wall of Omens, right?
Yeah.
All right, so play our Wall of Omens. And draw Archon of Justice.
Come on. Don't embarrass me, Nick.
Draw Soul's Attendant.
Okay, well, that's...
We're going to play our Soul's Attendant, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we still have hope if we find a land.
Yeah, we're blocking their Goblin God. Their Goblin God gave us a land. What are you doing?
Drew Inferno Titan.
Yeah, this might not go very well.
All right. And Totem, we got Harpies, all right.
Okay, so we lost game 1. That's
right.
Okay.
But we have 15 cards in our sideboard to go through.
One of them has to be right.
But seriously, that deck seems really cool. So you said you're trying Turbo Fog and it didn't work out?
Yeah, I tried Turbo Fog a lot. I really liked it at first. Once we figured out we have to run main deck Leyline of Sanctity and Beast Within, because without Beast Within you can't beat Planeswalkers, and without Leyline you can't beat Valakut or Red. The problem was even with that, it was just way too hard. Like out of sideboard to bring in Nature's Claims, or some people had Surgical Extraction, which just felt unbeatable. So eventually we just had to scrap it. Like too many matchups were unbeatable.
Well, a couple people on Twitter are asking for Magic the Puzzling. I'd love to have you lay it out. Unfortunately, it looks like pairings just went up, or just got printed out. So you're going to have to run here in just a second.
Okay. I can tell you what your position is.
Tell me what the position is, and if you guys figure it out, tweet at us, and we'll relay it to John, see if you're right.
Valakut is going to kill you next turn. You have to get infinite life. Or kill them with Deceiver Twin, but you're not killing them with Deceiver Twin. You have 5 lands in play. They can tap for whatever you want. You don't have a 6th land. You start the turn with a Sun Titan, a Spellskite, a Soul's Attendant, and a Birthing Pod.
So Sun Titan, Soul's Attendant, Birthing Pod, Spellskite. Okay, those are your 4 cards.
Your graveyard has a Scalding Tarn.
Okay.
Nothing else you can bring back. Your hand has a Birthing Pod, a Deceiver Exarch, and a Phantasmal Image.
All right.
5 mana. Gain infinite life.
All right, we'll see if we can figure it out. We're going to take a quick break. Thanks, Jonathan Lash, for coming to the booth. Really appreciate it. Great deck.
Thank you.
Love to see it. Hopefully you keep winning. We'd love to have you under the cameras again.
Yeah.
We'll see you in just a couple minutes for some round 5 action.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for coming.